No, nobody else is in the house.
Miss Ruby Johnson, a 78-year-old grandma, stood by as her Colorado home was raided by a SWAT team back in January of 2022. What law did Miss Johnson break? None. The police were looking for some stolen goods, including an old iPhone that they believed was in Miss Johnson's house. After the raid, the police found nothing, so Miss Johnson sued for damages, including emotional distress, and ended up with an award totaling $4 million. But I watched the video. The police didn't push her around. They weren't mean to her.
I see stuff like this on the movie, but I didn't think it'd ever happen.
Well, we knew you were a star, so we were going to make you a movie star today.
And they even kept her warm outside in a squad car while they did their search. So does Miss Johnson deserve to win this lawsuit? Definitely. Let's walk through all the stupid things the police did with this raid and all the things Miss Johnson did right, so you know what to do if this ever happens to you. It all starts on a crisp Tuesday afternoon in January 2022 when a SWAT team rolls up outside Miss Johnson's home. What has she done wrong? Nothing. In fact, she was just about to get in the shower, apparently. But the police think her home contains stolen property, and they've come armed to the teeth to retrieve it. Although Miss Johnson has broken rule number 1, which is don't talk to the police, I do applaud her for coming out of her house willingly upon the command of the SWAT team. In prior videos, I've covered what you should do if the police come to your door when you didn't call for help. And most of the time, the answer is that you should not enter the door in the first place, and you should definitely not just walk outside. But in this specific case, it is clear that the SWAT team has a search warrant, and they're going to come into that house one way or another. Failing to cooperate with a search warrant, even if it later turns out to be bogus, likely is only going to lead to more trouble on scene and more property damage that you're going to have to repair later. Even though Miss Johnson is being very polite and looks like she couldn't hurt a fly, the SWAT team still enters her house as if she's the mastermind of a vast criminal conspiracy. Maybe she's the godmother. But why are the cops here in the first place? And what's with this search warrant? We have to back up to the day before. At 6:45 that morning, someone allegedly steals a white Chevy pickup from a Hyatt hotel parking lot. The owner reports the theft to the police. 6 firearms, 2 drones, $4,000 of cash, and an old iPhone that apparently still works. Who leaves 6 firearms and $4,000 of cash in their car in a hotel parking lot? But I digress. The owner of the truck tells the police that the old iPhone is giving him a signal via the Find My iPhone app. The app produces this map where the old iPhone could be located. Denver PD Detective Staub writes up a search warrant affidavit solely based on that information from the Find My iPhone app. His police supervisor approves the search warrant affidavit. The district attorney signs off on it, and the judge issues a search warrant for Miss Johnson's home. And you might be wondering, should the police use something as amateur and off the shelf as the Find My iPhone app to develop probable cause for a search warrant? No, they shouldn't. First, it's not precise. The little circle of interest in this case where the phone could be located touches at least 7 or 8 properties, and notably the neighboring property is fully within the circle as well. Second, the reviewing district attorney and the judge should have asked why the police believes the iPhone is at Miss Johnson's home versus any of the other properties within or touching the circle. Third, it's certainly common for the police to use apps and technology such as this to track our phones and use that for their investigations. But it should only be part of their investigation. In my opinion, the search warrant being issued for Miss Johnson's home is a violation of the Fourth Amendment because there's no probable cause to believe that stolen iPhone is on her property. Certainly the police had good reason to go do a knock and talk on some houses in the area or maybe stake them out and see what they might observe, but they do not have probable cause to put a battering ram through Miss Johnson's garage door. But were the police right? Did they find anything? They checked the attic. Nothing. And it sounds like a shower is actually still running. They stand on the back of her dining room chair to check up high. Nothing. They use a battering ram to go through her garage door. Nothing. But they do find something in her shed, a Christmas tree. At this point, it's pretty clear why Miss Johnson sues for emotional distress due to this raid and invasion of her privacy. But does this mean that anyone can win millions of dollars if the police raid your house? Not necessarily. This happened in Denver, and like many things in Colorado, this is a special case. Colorado has a new statute that allows injured people to sue the police for state constitution violations, and it specifically bars the police from using qualified immunity as a shield. This opens the door to many lawsuits that would normally be dismissed due to qualified immunity in other states, or if you tried to file such a claim in federal court. And each state also handles emotional distress claims very differently. Some states do not allow emotional distress recovery at all, or only allow it in very specific circumstances, such as if you also have actual physical injury related to the emotional distress. In Miss Johnson's case, obviously the Colorado State Court allowed her claims to proceed, and her case was strong because she could cite to sources of emotional distress, such as having to move out of her home after decades of living there. The jury awards Miss Johnson $3.76 million, a major win against unreasonable searches. And in a move that I find quite shocking, the judge actually increased her final award to make it an even $4 million. If something like this happens to you, be like Miss Johnson. Be calm, be cordial. I don't think she was trying to set herself up as the ideal victim for a future lawsuit, but she did a great job at doing so. Imagine if the video showed her yelling and screaming and trying to push the police around and carrying on. If she was yelling and fighting with the police, I'll bet her monetary judgment would be a lot less in this case. To learn more specifics about how the police use our phones against us and what you can do about it, check out this next video. And remember to avoid Miss Johnson's one mistake and don't talk to the police.